They say the good Lord's got a reason for the way the world turns round. But when it comes to this heartbreak, I can't see no higher ground. A daughter's smile can light the heavens, her laughter makes the shadows fade. But now I sit here in the silence as her memory slowly decays. I held her hand the day she was born. I never thought I'd hold her last. A parent's love should span forever, not be shattered by the past. No father should outlive his daughter. No mother should cry like this tonight. She was my world, my only sunshine, and now I'm lost in endless night. Oh, it's not the way life's meant to be. She should have been burying me. Her shoes still sit by the doorway, her voice still echoes in the hall. Every corner of this old house holds a piece of her so small. I see her face in the springtime flowers and hear her laugh in the summer rain. But seasons change and life moves forward while I'm drowning in my pain. I taught her how to ride a bike, watched her dance across the floor, but nothing ever could prepare me to not see her anymore. No father should outlive his daughter. No mother should cry like this tonight. She was my world, my only sunshine, and now I'm lost in endless night. Oh, it's not the way life's meant to be. She should have been burying me. There's no fixing what's been broken, no mending what time stole away. But I'll keep her smile in my memory until I see her anymore. No father should outlive his daughter. No mother should cry like this tonight. She was my world, my only sunshine, and now I'm lost in endless night. Oh, it's not the way life's meant to be. She should have been buried me.
Well, hello everybody. Wow. I appreciate you all coming by to hear my daughter's story. Hopefully I can get through this without breaking down for the umpteenth time today. It seems to happen every year. So we'll work through it and see what happens. And if I shed a few tears, you guys know I'm human, right? Contrary to popular belief, that is. January 3rd, 2022. Just after, well, January 4th, I would say, was when I was notified. Ah, this is harder than I thought. Whew. It's been 3 years, and this is still harder than hell to talk about. So, I'll tell you what, before we get into this, what you guys see on screen, let me give you some backstory of who my daughter was. Let's back out of that. Let me give you some backstory to who this little girl was. We'll go with this picture. This is my daughter, Tessa Lynn Gary. Yeah, I'm doxing myself. I don't give a damn. This is too important. I'm easy to look up. So, my daughter was the ultimate princess tomboy, if you could figure that one out. She loved dressing up, but she loved the outdoors. She loved animals. She loved hunting and fishing. She loved doing anything that Dad did. If I was out working on a vehicle, she'd be underneath that thing with a wrench all greasy, asking me what to do next. If I went fishing, I could not leave the house without her. None of my boys were that way. None of my boys were that way. She was. I went hunting. I had to go. I had to take her because she loved spending time with Dad. Because that's what it came down to. You know, whether it was pheasant hunting or deer hunting or whatever, it didn't matter. Even if we were just taking a walk out in the field. You know, my all three of my sons are addicted. My daughter wasn't. She couldn't really stand the internet. Um, she'd use it for school and she'd use it for looking stuff up, playing music, and that was about it. She didn't do the whole social media thing much. She was huge into texting. Oh my God, that girl could text like there was no tomorrow. It irritated the living shit out of me. I hate texting with a passion, by the way. Human communication is my thing. I like talking to people face to face or over the phone. I can hear a voice. I can interpret, you know, moods. Can't do that over the internet. And, you know, yeah, it was fun. My daughter was born November 21st, 2000. The day she died, she was just about 3 months over being 21 years old. That bothers me to no end. If anybody should have gone at 21, it should have been me. I was a fucking hellraiser. She didn't do anything to deserve any of this. Thank you, Digger. Thank you guys, everybody in chat. I haven't gone through and said any names or anything. I just started talking. I appreciate all of you for being here. You know, this is, you're not late, Bobby. You're not late. We're just getting started. But my daughter was, funny enough, the son that I already had, but better. No, I love all my children. Believe me, I love all of my children. They all have their unique qualities and their own specialties. And it is one of those things that you think of as a parent that you go, what did I do different between these? And I gave them all the same amount of attention. And, you know, she grew up loving life for the most part. Where this story begins, where this story begins, and I don't even have that picture here for some reason, but it was her 18th birthday. Number of months before my daughter turned 18 years old, she started dating a guy by the name of Harley. And at 18, she decided that they were going to move out and move to Nebraska, start a life there. They were going to stay together forever. See if I can get this. Get myself a little bit bigger so I'm not being stupid. There we are. But yeah, they wanted to spend their lives together. So, with sadness in my wife's heart, we told her, "You're 18, you can make your own choices." You know, she was a good girl. She didn't get into trouble. But we figured, she's got a good head on her shoulders. And so a couple months later, they move to Nebraska, to Kimball, Nebraska. My daughter, her boyfriend, Harley, was a truck driver, and he went to work for a farm out there hauling feed, you know, and silage and all that good stuff. And uh, during harvest season, he warned her. He told her this. He said, "I won't be home during harvest." If you guys grew up in a farm district, you guys would know that during harvest, the people that work during harvest, they work 18 to 20 hours a day. And I told my daughter this. She called me up one day. She goes, "Dad, Harley's never home." And I'm like, "You knew this from the beginning, sweetheart." She goes, "I'm lonely though." And I said, "Well, you're just going to have to, woman up and deal with it because this is the life you signed up for." He's a farm boy. He was a good kid. And things deteriorated over the next few months, even after harvest season. And eventually I find out that she moved out. Harley calls me up. He goes, "Ryan," he goes, "your daughter left me." And I'm like, "Where the hell's my daughter at?" He goes, "I don't know." So the manhunt began. Took me all of about 3 hours to find her, calling everybody that I knew, because I'm one of those individuals, especially in the farm community and the internet community. I can find just damn near anybody that's close to me, and they're only 3 hours away, and I know a bunch of people up in that area. So I tracked her down, and she was staying at one of her girlfriend's houses. And I says, "What are you doing, young lady?" And she goes, "Dad, I just can't deal with it." And I said, "Well, you needed to sit down and be an adult and talk to him." So they gave it another shot for a little while. She went back to his place. It was a it was one of those things that, as a father, things aren't going to work out, but you want them to, because he was a good kid. He was hardworking. He had his flaws. I mean, he prized his pickup over everything else. Big old diesel truck, and you know, damn thing was costing him $1,000 a month. Well, things didn't work out. She moved out permanently, stayed with her girlfriend again for a little while. And then she calls my wife up. She tells her that she started dating this other guy. And we're like, "Does he treat you right?" "Yeah." We don't know anything about this guy, mind you. The kid she was dating, now we knew about him. We knew about his parents. We talk down here in these farm communities. We talk. We know everybody and everybody's kids. So, up there in Nebraska, I'm in Colorado, up there in Nebraska, we didn't know. So months go by, and she's staying in communication with me and with my wife, and then things start slowing down. We don't actually end up hearing from her for a month or two. Now, that should have been my absolute first clue what the hell was going on. And God damn it, the fucking pandemic happened. Coof. And at that point, my daughter had stopped working as a waitress and she was working as a CNA. She trained herself up to be a CNA. She was working at the old folks home. And they wouldn't let her leave the state to come home for holidays, or hell, if I died, they wouldn't have let her come home without losing her job. And jobs up there are far and few between. So we missed her that year for her birthday. We missed her for Thanksgiving. We missed her for, Christmas and New Year's and her brother's birthdays. And it was 2 years of the hardest time of my life. 2020 and 2021, I saw my daughter once during that time, y'all. Just one time. Uh, the boyfriend, uh, he was a very sickly individual. He had to have surgery done in Fort Collins, Colorado, so she drove him down here without telling her employer. Had to stay for a few days for him to recuperate and go back home. And she came down here by herself while he was in the hospital. And one of the things that just shocked the living hell out of me was the fact that, she was quiet. That girl was never quiet. That girl could talk your damn ear off. I literally just couldn't figure out what was going on. Another sign that I should have been paying more attention as a father. And I want this to be also, informational and a lesson to parents. Listen to your gut. If your gut tells you there's something wrong, there is. There absolutely is. So months went by. I'd talk to her once in a while on Facebook, or she'd give me a call. She didn't talk to my wife much. Maybe she figured Dad was the dipshit and he wouldn't see through the bullshit. We'd ask her to come home for a little bit to come visit. She promised she would, and it never happened. And hindsight is 2020. Hindsight is definitely 2020 because when you are a parent, you want to see the best in your children. You don't want to see what's the worst side of them or what's going on. Everything, needs to be perfect. And it wasn't. It wasn't even after she was gone, y'all. We didn't know the extent of the abuse for a year. It's not even in most of the court documents. I know that. And I can tell you a few things about the state prosecutor that will make your damn head spin. So we're leading up to January 3rd of 2022. Mind you, I had just literally talked to my daughter 4 days before that. She was planning on coming home. She didn't make it, y'all. She didn't make it. There are so many memories that we go through, you know? This young lady right here, this young lady right here was the apple of my eye. She helped me build that fish tank behind you. That's behind her. That saltwater aquarium. You know? Funny story for you about this picture here. We were on a vacation to Bonnie Reservoir. And this is before they shut it down. It's just south of us by about an hour and 45 minutes. And she was, I think she was 9 or 10 years old at the time. And that's my dog, Indy. And Tess had laid up there and she was tired in the camper. And Indy laid down, stuck her butt in the face. We had to take pictures, obviously. She kind of had stink nose for a while. It was funny as hell. Same trip, by the way. Turkey dropped on her from a tree, and so did a bull snake. Oh, there's Tessa Lynn and my dog Indy. That was just a few months before that trip. Like I said, she loved the outdoors. Every time I got a new boat, it was, Dad, can we go work on it? Can we go work on it? Even as a teenager, guys. It was me catching a walleye and her reaction. She had never actually seen a fish caught that big. That's a pretty good sized walleye. I picked that boat up, brought it home, and before I even put it in the yard, she had the garden hose out, the broom out, the shop vac out. She was ready to clean that sumbitch up. We put it on the ground and she jumped in and she started cleaning. I didn't have the heart to tell her I wasn't keeping the boat. I only wanted it for the mechanics, the motor, and so forth. We ended up keeping it. This is her on the way home from one of our hunting trips. These are her younger brothers when they were young. She loved these boys to death. So, a story for y'all. Oh, give me just a second, guys. I will do that, Squid. Give me just a second here. My text. You said my text. My text. I'll do that. Thank you. Whew. So, 2009, my wife got sick, and I nearly lost her to a strange strain of pneumonia that ended up in congestive heart failure. She spent 9 days in the hospital. She was quarantined by the CDC because they couldn't figure the strain out. I couldn't see her, couldn't talk to her. The night we brought her into the ER, the about 4 hours into it, the doctor says, "You need to go." He goes, "We're going to give you a suit, and you need to go in and say your goodbyes." Now, mind you, it's 2009. My daughter's 9 years old. 9. These boys had just barely been born. My oldest was already a teenager. He turned 28 this year. All from the same mother, by the way. I've been with my wife, it'll be 29 years this next month. But when she got sick, I prayed to God that He would take my life for hers. And we both got spared. Show off. But she had congestive heart failure and she couldn't do anything for 10 years. First couple of years, I worked full time and took care of her. My daughter, though, she was the real hero of that story. Yeah, Digger. My wife told me as long as if a kid shows up at the door and says, "Are you my daddy?" As long as he's 30 years old, we're fine. If he's under that, we're screwed. There's no chance in hell there's one underneath 30, believe me. And Squid, I got a case of these coming for you. But anyway, not a case, a pack. That's being sent with your Christmas gift. Anyway, my daughter was the real hero because at 9 years old, she could tell that dad was completely overrun. And she stepped up. She helped take care of her younger brothers. She helped me with the house. Didn't complain, didn't you never had to tell that girl to do anything. Nobody ever asked her for to do anything. She saw that mom was hurting and couldn't do anything. So for about 5 years, that little girl stepped up to take care of the family. And I think that's where she got her strength from, but I also think that's where she found her ability to hide things. It, and I just wish that she would have never hidden what was going on to me. She could have hidden it from her mother. Hiding it from me is something I wish she wouldn't have done because I could have done something about it. And I'll tell you this as a father, I would have gladly sat in a prison for the rest of my life to prevent what happened to her and to prevent the pain that she went through beforehand. Oh, this is this is Tessa Lynn and her older brother Donovan. my oldest. It's one of the few times in their entire life, because there's a fairly large age gap between them, that, oh, there's what's 28, 7 years difference. Um, they didn't get along ever. It was funny, and that this young lady, whenever you'd ask her what you wanted for her birthday or for Christmas, she goes camo, camo, camo. I mean, when we go camping, we went really camping. This is actually my daughter and one of her best friends, Sarah. Sarah's a little bit weird, and I love that girl to death, but they stole my boat, my little bass boat. They stole it and took it out halfway in the middle of the lake, and then they had a hard time getting it back. I'm having to tell little stories in between. Oh, God dang. Hold on. I got to stop this. Y'all, no, I can't stop it. It's just too damn funny. She stole one of her mama's bras and decided to play around with it. She had no idea I was recording. And she went and hid. Oh, God, it was just damn funny. Yep. She was so embarrassed. Now, let's see if I can stop. Can I stop this? Yeah, I can. Now, I want you guys to pay attention to the young lady. We're right here. Because she actually means a lot to this story right here. This is Becky, and this is Shannon. There have been three young ladies that my wife and I have adopted in our lifetime because of their family situations. We never got to legally adopt them. I wish I had. I wish I could have. Uh, Shannon was my daughter's best friend, and then it was Sarah, and then there was another young lady, and then there was Becky right there. There's four total that were her absolute best friends. Shannon was her sister, to say the least. And there was another young lady by the name of Samantha that my wife and I also adopted, who my grandchildren are supposed to be here today, but they haven't shown up yet. But Shannon is an integral, very beautiful piece in this story. I didn't know that was a video. Like I said, this little girl, she loved the outdoors. She had bows and arrows. She had crossbows. She had pew pews. She was actually pretty good with it, even though she was clumsy as shit, especially with a bow and arrow. Look at that form. Boom. Nailed it. These two have a big part in the story, too. The big black and white dog is Alice, and the other one is my dog, Indy. They were best friends. When Indy died, Alice lost a lot of her spark. When we got Alice back after my daughter was gone, Alice gave up. She lasted about 2.5 months before she up and died on us. How much we love our family and our pets depends on who's going next. She used to love filming me and when we were out fixing stuff and hunting and all that. I can't play that one right now. I will play that. That was the memorial that I made for her. That was played at her funeral. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you. Thank you, Gabby. There's so much that I can go through, but I want to get on to the rest of her story. When, whew, right here. Now, as I go through this, I need everybody to understand something for me. I don't dislike law enforcement. I support them. But eventually, we'll actually be talking about the evidence in the court case. It won't be today. This is hard enough to get through. The night that my daughter died, we were not notified by the state patrol, the sheriff's department, the local PD, any of them. They lied. The state patrol said in their statement that they contacted my wife and I. They lied. My daughter's friend Sarah, that I showed you guys, came banging on our door about 12:30 at night. One of her other friends was trying to Facebook message us, and our internet had been down because she didn't have our phone numbers. So she got a hold of Sarah, and Sarah came over at midnight, and my wife answered the door. I was just getting myself dressed, and I heard my wife scream, and my son came and got me, and she's bawling her eyes out. Sarah's bawling her eyes out. My boys are bawling their eyes out. And Sarah tells me that my daughter's gone. And I said, "What do you mean my daughter's gone?" And she said that she was contacted by one of her, my daughter's friends in Kimball, who is training to be an EMT, and she was called to the scene. They pronounced her dead on the scene. I spent the next 2 hours, 2 hours, trying to find anybody in Nebraska that would talk to me. About 4:30 in the morning on the 4th, I finally got a phone call from the sergeant that was on scene, and she said, "Well, we got a hold of you." And I said, "No, lady, you didn't." I said, "What is the condition of my daughter?" She says, "Well, she's in the hospital." And I said, "Okay, is she going to be all right?" She said, "No, sir, she's not." And I said, "What does that mean?" She said, "Well, she's in the morgue. She was pronounced dead on the scene." The most callous, uncaring bitch I have ever spoken to in my entire life. And when she confirmed that my daughter was dead, my wife and my sons believed that I had a stroke. because I collapsed on the floor and I was unresponsive for about a minute and a half. Oh, it took 2 weeks to get any information out of those son of bitches in Nebraska. I heard more over the internet from the news stations. From these fucking vultures. I heard more from them. Look at all the tabs. Than I did the NSP, the local sheriff's department, or the PD. We never got a call from the victim's advocate. Not once. I ended up getting their information from the state prosecutor, who was absolutely livid about what I had told him when he finally contacted me. 6 months, almost a year later. Oh. But the way things basically went down is that night he had got high and got drunk, got on the phone with his ex-wife, threatened to kill her and her mother, went and stole my daughter's single shot break barrel shotgun, little H&R shotgun, little 20 gauge, that I'd given her on her 15th birthday. She argued with him, and that literal piece of human fucking trash took the back of my daughter's head completely off. I could not, when they told me that they needed somebody to identify the body, I could not let my wife see that. It haunts me every single day. Thank you, Squid. Because we were 3 hours away, the prosecutor, the temporary prosecutor, thought it was a good idea, instead of me driving all the way up there, to text me a picture. Holy shit. I have seen some horrible things in my life, y'all. I did search and rescue for one of the local lakes when I was a teenager, and I've seen people in all sorts of state of death. To see my daughter missing the back of her head. That's why I'm telling you that Things did not go the way they should have. And I think it's because they could not figure out how to deal with this, because it was the first death that they had had of that sort in like 20 years. And let me tell you, it wasn't manslaughter. That's the only thing that they could charge him with, because they lacked this much evidence. This goddamn much evidence to charge him with murder. It may not have been intentional, but it was second degree murder. And there is a sentencing difference that is this damn big between the two. As it is, over the next year, fighting through the courts, they were able to get him on terroristic threats, which the jury threw out. They threw out the attempted first degree murder charge on his ex-wife and her mother, because the jury said that they couldn't prove it. I can tell you this. They shut the whole town of Kimball, Nebraska down for this. Nobody was working. The trial lasted like 4 days. He got 20 years for killing my daughter. He got another 10 to 20 for everything else. Well, I can tell you this. There will be no way in hell he's getting out on probation. They said he might serve 7 years with probation. 7. Now, Squid knows, because she's been looking this up. This guy has a rap sheet that's about 14 miles long. He's a 3-time loser. Bobby, yes. And I would, let me tell you this. I am such an advocate for law enforcement. I have a lot of friends in law enforcement. And I have a lot of friends that are friends with law enforcement in other states, including prison guards. The first day he was in prison. Actually, let's go back before that. The first day he was in the local jail in Scotts Bluff, the county jail, there was 2 attempts on his life. So far, in the state prison, there have been 14 attempts. Why they won't let somebody finish the son of a bitch off, I don't know. But he keeps crying wolf and getting put in solitary so that he can stay safe. And I know which of my friends have put the word out. I have a very good friend who was a brand inspector for this county that I live in, and he now lives in Nebraska and is a brand inspector for guess what county? So he actually knew about everything before I did. This guy is a complete, let's put it this way. I had a phone call about 6 weeks before my daughter's memorial. We had her memorial on March 28th of 2022. Just over a month after 2 months after she was gone, almost 3. I had a phone call from one of the local biker gangs up in Kimball. Not the clubs, one of the actual gangs. This guy that killed my daughter was such bad news, and she had no idea how bad news he was, that the biker gangs were afraid of him. They wanted to do a charity ride for my daughter, and they did. They raised money to help give her a send-off. Everybody in town said how sweet my daughter was and how helpful and yada, yada, yada. And then I started getting news from her friends up there that I didn't know, by the way, and the local law enforcement. About suspicions of domestic violence that had gone on for over a year. And then we started putting the pieces together. We put the pieces together. The reason why when she would Facebook call us, the camera would almost always be pointing at just half of her face. Or the wall. Or she'd be outside in the dark. Why she never wanted to come home. Like I said, hindsight is 20/20. Parents, do not neglect your gut feelings. I knew something was wrong. I didn't know what it was or how bad it was. I knew something was wrong. But I tell you what I'm going to do right now, guys, is I'm actually going to play that video. I'm going to go clean myself off a little bit. I want you guys to just take a moment. And I do have permission from the original creator of this song, William Dempsey. YouTube, you've already had this issue. Do not strike my fucking video. I've already gone through this 3 times. Every single time William has contacted you people and said, no, it's cool.
I don't know why God always takes the good ones first. And man, I've tried to be strong and carry on, but damn, this hurts. And I just wish that I could talk to you again somehow, some way. Even if it's for a moment, so I can hear you say, don't cry for me, I'm alright. Yeah, I'm better than you know. And this life can be short or right, so don't waste it on sorrow. Just hold on to those moments and the memories we shared We're both headed for the same place anyway. I just beat you there. I know they say just give it a little time, you'll be okay. That might be true. It don't really help me today. And we ain't supposed to question the man upstairs. There's just so much I don't understand. It just don't seem fair. Don't try for me, I'm alright. I'm better than you know. And this life can be short and right, so don't waste it on sorrow. And just hold on to those moments and the memories we share. We're both headed for the same place anyway. I just beat you there. And as each day goes by, I get a little bit stronger. But that don't stop me from wishing you were here a little bit longer. When I think of you, like I know you'd want me to. And I know you're watching over me and everything I do. And all those things I never got to say, well, I'll send them with this prayer. Then look up, wipe my tears and raise my beer. And I'll see you there. And I'll see you there.
Oh, shit. You know, that is about the fourth time I've watched that, because every time I watch it, it kills me. And I'm the one that made it. You know, as a parent, we sit back and we always wish the best for our children. And the funny thing is, you know, this happened during the height of COVID, the coof, the pandemic. And because of her job, my wife and I had actually expected to get that phone call. Excuse me. That she was in the hospital and she had passed away. That, I think, I could have taken better than what had happened. To any young ladies and young men out there, I'm going to say this very plainly. If you are in trouble, tell somebody. caught, tell your parents. Don't tell a friend, because your friends are going to fucking hide it. Because no matter what, you young people, if any of you are listening to this, recorded or live or what have you, if any of you need to understand one thing, no matter how much you hate your parents, I will guarantee you that most, not all, I'm not going to say all, but most parents will walk through the fires of hell to make sure that you are safe. Most fathers will become those fires of hell to make sure it. You know, you see those t-shirts all the time, you know, that, promote strong fatherhood. I felt the weakest I've ever felt in my entire life. January 4th. I felt that way for 2 years. And it wasn't until this year, about midway through, when I started coming back online in mass, 6, 8 months ago, that I started to think about what my daughter wanted for me. And I know that she'd want me to live. But there are 2 days every month, I mean, not every month, every year, that just kick my ass. This is one day. The other one is November 21st, her birthday. Because that was the day God gave her to me. And then January 3rd was the day God took her from me. And I know everybody says God's got a plan. She's up there doing something important. That may be true. That doesn't make it hurt any less. Because she had things important down here to do. We didn't find out until afterwards that my daughter was never going to be able to give me grandchildren. She had been made sterile by fibroid cysts. That was a crusher. And she helped so many people. There are so many stories that I can go through. There are hundreds of people in this stupid little town that I live in, where she grew up. So many stories I could tell you about people that she helped. Hell, I think she helped more animals than people, though. God, she loved animals. One of her jobs here in town was she worked for a ranch that housed racehorses. And she loved those damn horses. She loved dogs. She loved cats. We have thousands of pictures of her with animals. I have thousands of pictures of her outdoors. I have thousands of pictures of her helping others. We as parents need to dig deeper. We need to be more responsible for guiding our children's decisions, letting them know if they are in trouble, to let us know, no matter what the consequence is, so that we can prevent this. Listen, y'all, the night my daughter was killed, that son of a bitch had his children in that house. They didn't see it, but they heard it. They heard the yelling. They heard everything. They heard the gunshots. They heard the thump when her body hit the floor. I wouldn't wish that upon him. And I hate him more than anything on planet Earth. My mother tells me you got to get rid of the hate. No, you don't. You do not need to get rid of the hate. And let me tell you why. He doesn't deserve forgiveness. He doesn't deserve anything. He took the life of an innocent. That was one of the first things I asked the prosecuting attorney. I said, is there anything in your case files that once they go public that I'm going to be embarrassed about for my daughter's sake? And he said, no, nothing. She was the complete victim. And in case anybody's wondering, the officer that told me, all the bullshit when I finally did get a hold of somebody the night she was killed, nothing happened to her. She was given a demerit from my understanding. Big fucking deal. That's a mark on her jacket. Whoopee. She needed to be let go. Never work around people or animals. But the whole reason I'm saying this, and I'm telling this story online 3 years after it happened, is because, one, it took me 3 years just to get the courage to do this. It destroyed me. I had to build myself back up, and I'm still not there yet. Disregarding all of my other pain. This right here, all of this, it hurts worse than all of it. On my neck, I wear a piece of my daughter. My wife wears one. My boys each have one. All of our family members have one. Oh, Mo, Snake Island is not good enough for this son of a bitch. Not even the center of the sun. I'm talking 4 horses, 4 ropes, and 4 good slaps on the ass. And I did put this out, and I told the prosecuting attorney when they were talking about giving him bail before the trial. 5 horses. Sorry. 5 horses, Digger. You're right. I told the prosecuting attorney, he goes, would you have much of a problem if we were to make a plea bargain for his bond? And I said, you're damn right. He goes, what would happen if we gave him bond? And I said, well, here's what I would do. I said, I would be sitting in the cell next to him, or his cooling body at that point. I'm going to turn off the green screen here. No, it's actually not there. It's in the other room. Never mind. My daughter, before she left on her 18th birthday, her and my daughter wanted to get me a new hunting rifle. So she bought me a Savage Mark II 308. And I've never shot it. I was supposed to shoot it this year for elk season, but I missed that because of my physical problems. But I told the prosecuting attorney that story, that Tess had purchased that weapon for me. And I said, you know, I'm pretty damn good with a rifle. I said, the moment he walked out that gate, I said, all he would hear would be as his head blew up like a fucking watermelon. And if the thing is as a father, any man that would not go that distance is not a man. I will walk through the fires of hell for any of my family. Hell, I got friends that'll do it to it too. Funny thing is, the moment that one of my best friend, Fred, he's former U.S. military. 2 days after we sent notification out that Tessa was killed, he calls me up. He goes, "I got the boys ready." He goes, "Where are we going?" Because they're all military veterans. I'm not, but I hang around these guys. I've known them for 20 years. They're my closest companions when it comes to friends around here. We all live about an hour apart. And when I say when he says I got the boys together, he had a group of 50 people that were willing to go to Scotts Bluff County Jail, raid it, military style, drag this guy's ass outside, no matter what the consequences were. Because she grew up around these guys. She was family to them. There's a lot of details that I haven't given out yet. There's a lot of them I may have mixed up over time. Squid, thankfully, has done the long search for me, and she's gathering all the documents, and I have given her permission to talk about the actual case itself. I have actually never seen any of the court documents. We went to the trial one day, because I couldn't stand listening to him. I was actually called as a witness. I was called to testify at my daughter's prowess with firearms. Hey, Rosalind. No problems. Yeah, Mo, she was everyone's baby girl. Tribe decided that they wanted to get vengeance for her. I had to stop a military incursion into a sheriff's department. At some point, I almost wish I didn't, because that would have actually made national news. You know, I was so sickened because 2 days, 2 days after my daughter dies, on 9 News here in Colorado, they had a full-ass news story on a crackhead bitch that died on Colfax or Wadsworth or some bullshit in Denver. A flat-out drug addict. But my daughter didn't make Colorado news at all. She barely made Nebraska news. It was in print all over Nebraska. It was on 2 of their TV stations for 30 seconds. While a fucking crackhead bitch here in Colorado got a 10-minute story. Tell me where the justice in that is. Tell me how we are helping people that are surviving domestic violence with shit like that. So, one of the goals that I have had since that summer is to create a foundation that will help protect domestic violence victims and their children. Yeah. They're Frank Otter. You're not that far away, which blows my fucking mind. But I want to create a foundation called Tessa's Home. I'm going to start, I started the groundwork for it well over a year ago. And I need to actually get back to it. Fundraising just to get it started was hard enough, and it's not even started yet. I haven't even got the legal paperwork done for it or anything of that sort. But the purpose of it is going to be building hardened communities. Like a gated community, but just for domestic violence victims. A place where they can go and they can feel safe. I actually have talked to, my headset just shut off. Those group of military veteran buddies of mine. Before I tell you that, let me tell you a story about these military veteran buddies. A lot of these guys have lost children to war recently in the last decade. And they say it doesn't even hurt that bad because they knew that they were doing something that meant something. That's the military mentality. Because they didn't die needlessly. They were doing something. They were proud of them when they died. Now, don't get me wrong. What I had found out, what my daughter did that night, made me so proud of her. The reason she was arguing with him and just didn't let him go is because she was trying to protect his ex-wife, the mother of his children that were sitting in the living room. She was trying to protect those kids. She turned around, and he says the gun went off on accident. And the state says that that particular weapon has a problem with the hammer and the trigger mechanism. No, it didn't. That particular shotgun worked just fine. He shot her in the back of the head. But my military buddies are all retired and have nothing else to do. Said that they know thousands of others that would volunteer to protect these communities 24 hours a day. The idea is to go buy 5, 10 acres of property in each county across the United States and build a hardened compound, biometric locks, blast-proof doors, bulletproof windows. I'm talking the fucking works. To where when the woman or even a guy, believe it or not, I actually, one of my best friends he is a sufferer of domestic violence, and he's a man. His wife beat the living shit out of him. Bruised ribs. I mean, it was bad. But we've got to do something in this country to start taking these fucking dirtbags off the streets. The prisons are far too lenient with this shit. And unless the child is under 18 years old, actually, if it's, from what I've been told, under 16, they don't generally do much about it in the prison. Unless they're asked to. Or, funny enough, paid to. Which I don't have that kind of money, so. But yeah, the system relies on inmates to do the obvious thing. That's my long-term goal for the rest of my life. Is to get those communities set up to where individuals that they're hurting and in pain know that they have a place to go to where they are absolutely safe. Where the first thing they're going to walk up to is a guard gate with a big burly bearded motherfucker with an AK-47 or an M16 or whatever. AR-15, I don't give a shit what it is. That's going to stop whoever's pursuing them. They won't be able to get in because it's going to be biometrics. They can't shoot their way in because it's bulletproof. Jelly, I know. I know. my first my first interaction with domestic violence, my mom was coming down the stairs with my actual father. He met her at the top of the stairs with a shotgun and said, "You ain't taking my children," when she divorced him. After she married my stepdad, I was 5.5 years old when she married him. I was about 11 years old, and I saw him raise his hand to my mother one time. At 11 years old, I beat the living shit out of that son of a bitch. And then I did it again when I was 17. Then my mom divorced him and left him. Finally, she got remarried to a guy that actually treats her like she's supposed to be treated. I was raised on the premise that you don't ever raise your hand to a woman. Matter of fact, I've almost been arrested so many times for taking on dudes that are even bigger than me. Greeley Mall. It's a good story. The Greeley Mall, I think it was 1994. Some friends and I were up there shopping, just having a good time, and there's this great big dude. I mean, he was probably topping 400 pounds, and his girlfriend, she couldn't have weighed more than $120. He's walking through the mall slapping the shit out of her, and there ain't nobody doing nothing about it. I did. I broke his leg and his arm in 3 places. The cops arrested him and let me go. Because the weird thing was the cops sat there and watched me do it. because they didn't want to intervene because of the way the laws are written. It's just absolute nonsense. We have got to crack down on this. Domestic violence to me is worse than anything out there. I don't care. You want to go try to blow up a building? Fine, whatever. Don't hit a woman. I'm not saying blowing up a building is a good thing, by the way. I don't approve of any violence. But nobody should have to deal with what what my wife and I are living with. I am 48 years old next month. No parent should ever outlive their children. Especially in not such a way. Losing your child to illness or an accident is one thing. Absolutely, Sir Frank Otter. They were written badly. The cops would literally just stand there and wait for somebody else to intervene because they didn't have the power to intervene. But we as a people, not just as a community, but as an entire people, as a species, needs to stop hurting those that are the most vulnerable of us. Children and women. And I'm not saying that women are, in any measure, not equal to a man. I know women that can do everything that I can do and more. Hell, women are superior to men. They give birth. We can't. It's a biological fact. Don't tell that to my oldest son, by the way. The geology major. Just to let you guys know, rocks don't fuck. Sorry, I gotta try to lighten shit up here. I am about ready to fucking lose it. Before we do that, I got something for everybody here. Thank you, everybody. Yo, Drago, my brother. Thank you so much, buddy. This bottle was purchased 7 years ago. 7 years. A bit of wild turkey. I had drank one shot out of this each year since my daughter passed. I didn't have a shot for Jeff yet. I was saving it for today. So I'm going to have a shot for my daughter, and I'm going to have a shot for Jeff. To Tessa. Holy shit, that's a lot more powerful than it was when I bought it. God damn. That's some good bourbon. Wow. Now a shot for Jeff. I didn't know you that well, buddy, but we did talk a few times, and it was always enjoyable. Gone too soon, brother. I'll put that away for another year. Oh, dear Lord. I don't think that's 80 proof anymore. I'm pretty sure you could start a fucking dragster with that shit. Oh, God. Skull! Oh, my God. We're an hour and 30 minutes in, guys, and I want to thank each and every single one of you for suffering with me. Because that's what, when you guys listen to stories like this, that's what ends up happening is you suffer. Your heart hurts. And I just want to thank you. It took me all this time just to get up the nerve to completely talk about it. Got a good story for you here. This stupid damn box. Bring that up here. I started building this box a week after she died. It took me 14 months to complete it. And sadly, I don't have a picture of what it looks like now because it looks awesome now. That is old barnwood. Those pieces of plywood are 40, 50 years old out of an old barn. And that's her keepsake box. That's where we put everything that's a keepsake for her in. And I want to thank, you know, give very special thanks to Squid and Mo and T3, Cynthia. Cynthia's been around since I started streaming again, I think. Shenny and Digger. You guys, a lot of you have heard the story, parts of the story before anybody else. You're all crew. Every damn one of you I consider friends. I don't know most of you at all. Well, Kelly, to be perfectly honest with you, I had like 5 breakdowns this morning and only 1.5 breakdowns midstream. I also had a gummy before I started stream, so it helped with my nerves a little bit. I honestly didn't think I was going to even show up. I was considering just canceling the whole damn thing. I got lots more stories, but they're just about her. One day, Sir Frank Otter, we will have a coffee. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I'm actually getting that fishing trip planned for this spring. So, late spring, I'll reach out to you. And I know that there are others that have lost children. Um, but to lose them to violence is a little bit of a different ball game. Now, here's an interesting one for you, and a sad story at the same time. Who in chat knows of Mama Tot over on TikTok? I'll wait before I actually tell you guys the story on this. Let me know if you guys know who Mama Tot is. Debbie Webb does. Your sis follows her. Toy. Mama Tot is a Southern belle, and she is sweet as can be. 2 weeks after my daughter was killed, her son was murdered. I had posted up on TikTok about my daughter's passing, and about 3 weeks went by. No, she's not related to Tater Tot. But about 3 weeks went by, so it'd be a week after her son died. And I get a DM in Twitter. Not Twitter, but TikTok. And it's Mama Tot. And we talked, shared stories about our kids. It was amazing to me that that community over there on TikTok, when Tessa first passed, they reached out to me something. I mean, and Mama Tot is huge. She's fucking huge. Millions of followers. And it just amazed me that she was so nice and so caring that she wanted to reach out and find out if I was okay. And while the first conversation we had, I had no idea that her son had been murdered. And then I'd already been following her, and then she posted a video about it, and then we started talking afterwards. I'm like, you did tell me this. And she was just so awful sweet and nice, even though she had just had the worst tragedy of her life as well. And that's the way I feel about a lot of you guys. I mean, I may act, fucking stupid as shit in other people's chats and tell dumb jokes, or I may just be quiet and not talk or anything like that. But I'll be honest with you guys, it hasn't been my gaming community for the most part that has given me the strength to actually come back to content creation. It's been you guys. T3, I enjoy the hell out of making you snort. My wife thinks it's fucking hilarious. Yes, I'm named after a Klingon. Worf's imaginary brother that the spelling's wrong. And there was other interactions like that. There's been a lot more that I haven't told you about, even with some of the people in chat. One of my oldest gaming friends pops up right there, misdemeanor. Looks like she's going to be on the replay crew. That's all right. I appreciate her being here. Yep. Kern, actually. No, actually, it's Kurn. His name is Kern. Oh. Oh, yes. Mama Tot has her bad days. I still watch her content. We still, actually, her and I still communicate. So there are others out there, that I would have never thought would have given me two fucking shits. And they actually cares people. That's why I hate when some people go, oh, this person, up on social media, they go, oh, this person's trash, blah, blah. They don't care about nobody. Yeah, I got personal experience that they do. And even though I don't act like it a lot, I give a damn about everybody. I shit talk a lot. But you can't help but not care about people when you're in these communities. Hell, I even care about Bubbles. Because if it wasn't for Bubbles, there's a lot of content creators that wouldn't have content anymore. They'd have to come up with new shit. That's about as far as I care about him, but I care about him. This is a damn good idea, smoking these stupid ass cigars on stream, because they keep going out when I don't pay attention to them, and I have to keep relighting them. So that's a good idea. Shelly, you were probably one of the most caring people I have ever come across that is standoffish as fuck. And I love it. Bobby goes, Bubbles? Bubbles. What? 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 I don't know, y'all. But this is the one thing I wanted to do this year before I started off doing much of anything else, because I needed to get this one done and out of here. I needed to get this off my chest. I needed to get this story told. Because this is probably the most important thing in the world. When I say I give absolutely two shits about anything else happening, I don't care about the presidency. I don't care about, world politics. I don't care about any of it. I'll talk about it all day long and I'll make my opinions known about it, but I just don't give a shit. I don't want any other parent in the world to go through with what my wife and I have gone through. No, Bobby, you can't be Bubbles. You can't be obsessed with No, 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 no. There can only be one Bubbles. Here, we'll put this up for funnies. There, we'll put that up for funnies. There we go. Oh my God. Porcupines are better than politics. No, not really, Grey Witch. I actually enjoy politics. I just don't like corrupt politicians, which makes politics suck. So, it is what it is. And if you guys missed it, that is my daughter when she was about 8 or 9, 9, 10, something like that. And that is my dog, Indy, sleeping with her butt in my daughter's face. It's the greatest photo I have ever taken. You just can't. Grey Witch, my brother lost a daughter 20 years and he's still heartbroken. Yeah. You can't help but not be. The weird thing is, and I don't mean to sound insulting to my sons, it probably wouldn't be as difficult for me to get through if it was one of my boys. And that's a genetic thing. I actually talked to a number of counselors about my feelings about, a number of things about what happened with my daughter and so forth. None of them did a damn thing for me, but some of them gave me some decent information. But, men were created to be the hunter-gatherers. They were meant to be the caregivers. They were meant to be the ones that went to war. And mods, if you have a channel, please promote yourself. And please promote any other creator. Throw their links down, please. You know, the pain never goes away when you lose a child. The pain never goes away when you lose anybody. And one of the things I was told by one of the therapists that I had spoken with is that every single tragedy is its own story. So, like I was saying, the death of my daughter is different from somebody else's daughter dying of leukemia, right? And a lot of it has to deal with whichever child you are closest to, just like T3 just said. I was closest to my daughter. I always have been. My sons are always standoffish. My sons, I have a feeling because of my demeanor and how strict I am with certain things. I have a feeling my sons are frightened of me. Actually, I know they are to an extent. I've never punished them severely. Not like capital punishment. But when I start talking really low and quiet, they know something is wrong and they run for the damn hills. Oh, I know my boys love me. Misty, I know that. But my daughter, she was the only one that would stand up to me toe to toe. Squid, thank you so much for being here. I love you, girl. We will talk later. You have a great rest of your day. Thank you for being here. And all of you in chat, do me a big old favor. Click and go subscribe to every one of the content creators that's in chat right now. I am not kidding you that without all of their support, I wouldn't have done this today. I wouldn't have done it. Two of the first people I let know that I was doing this months ago was Mo and Squid. And Misty, actually. Months ago, I let them know I was doing this. And there was a huge buildup of it because I couldn't determine whether I was going to step up to the plate and actually do it or not. And if Wolfie didn't know, I actually gave Wolfie a wrench because Wolfie's awesome. And I don't know why. You know what? Da, 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 da. My oldest mod and one of my oldest friends doesn't have a wrench, and I don't know why, but now she does. Well, thank you. Wolf is one of the greatest mods in the world. Guaranteed. And T3 just has, yeah, exactly, because of cursey words. No, T3 has one because she deserves it. She's awesome. Grey Witch says, our bodies run on electricity energy and cannot be created or extinguished. That's very true. It goes somewhere. It goes somewhere. Let's watch some dogs fight. These two girls loved each other so much. I miss both these dogs. This is what they would do all day long. Oh shit, I gave Bobby a wrench. Oh god damn, the world's ending. Oh well, too late now.
It's an epic game of
I
tag.
mean, exactly. I sit there and lurk, and I'll pop in and go, "Hi, everyone," and I will lurk, and I'll get this like 14-page,
No.
welcome from Wolf. It's pretty awesome.
Sit down. Sit down.
Alex,
Like what?
it's not a wrestling match.
You got $5 on the black dog. That's Indy. Believe it or not, Indy was not the queen of the pack at the time. That would be Alice, the other dog, the black and white one. Alice was the mama of everybody. Shanny goes, "Wait, have you met me?" Of course I have. Why do you think I'd give you a wrench? Why do you think I consider you friend? Squid goes, "I don't know, understand how I have a wrench." Well, you gave me a wrench, so I gave you a wrench. And then we became friends, and it just went on from there. Whole world just ended, by the way, Trying to lighten the mood, y'all. Oh, one thing here. One thing here. Y'all, this is my sister and her husband, Chuck. Chuck passed away of liver disease a month after my daughter did. So we had two family tragedies within 2 months. 2 months. Yeah, it was a month and a half. Yeah. My sister was a real pretty lady too. Still is. But thankfully she got out of Colorado and she moved to Seattle, Washington a year ago. Mo goes, "I can barely run my channel. I don't know why I got a wrench." Because, in case you want to pimp your ride or smack a bitch, one of the two. I give people I trust the ability to smack a bitch. Why not? What the hell is this? Oh God, this is hilarious.
My personal relationship to the secretary.
Oh, great wish, thank you for the sub. Appreciate you. My daughter and her friend Sarah. You know what, y'all? I didn't tell you guys the big thing happened. Chat, do you guys remember me telling you about my daughter's best friend, Shannon? I'm going to be quiet and ask you if you guys remember this. All right. There's a few of you that remember. Awesome. Well, January 23rd last year, something beautiful happened. That happened. Shannon gave birth to a beautiful baby girl and named her Tessa. That is my youngest granddaughter. Now, the irony of that, the 23rd of the month has a significant meaning in my family. There are so many people that are either born or died on the 23rd. Little Tessa right there was born on my grandfather's birthday, January 23rd. My mom's dad. I've held that little girl once so far. It's been a year since I've seen her, since they do live quite far away from us. They live about 6 hours from us. They'll be coming up in a couple of weeks to spend a couple nights up here so I can spend time with her and her older brother and her mother. My wife and I can, spend time with them. And we're going to meet her husband, who seems to be a pretty good guy. They're just like all the rest of us, broke as shit. But that is little Tessa. All right, Squid, you have a great afternoon. I almost forgot that. My other grandchildren should have been here by now, but they're not here, which irritates the shit out of me. I don't know where the hell their mother's at. They're supposed to take a weekend to go do wife and husband thingies. And they were supposed to drop the kids off at 9 this morning. They're still not here. So I'm not sure where those children are. And she's not answering her phone, according to my wife. So they'll be around. Yes, my daughter's nose was in that pup's butt. That's what's funny about that picture. That's what's funny about this picture. Look at this. My daughter fell asleep. Indy fell asleep and laid down right there. And my daughter scooted closer. It was the greatest thing ever. There's a video of it too, but we can't find the video right now. So it's just awesome. I know you're trying to multitask. I do the same thing and I fail at it. And now when I tell you my daughter's like a girly girl, well, thank you, Great Rich. Thank you. I try to be nice to people. I'll be honest with you guys, I used to be the asshole streamer. You can ask Misty. I used to be the dick of all dicks on Twitch. I mean, they would put me up against Ninja for being an asshole. And when I came back to streaming, I decided I matched the energies I got. That's very true. That's very true. I decided there were more important things in the world than to be pissed off at people I don't know. But, look at my daughter, the alien. Her and her mother had this thing about doing those goddamn facial masks. Scares the shit out of you when you're taking a nap, you wake up, you go, ah! And by the way, you guys, do me a favor and follow Misty as well. She does some excellent content. She does game reviews, book reviews, this, that, and the other. God, she's into everything. Photography. She films bands. It's awesome. Little did you know the deer couldn't see her. I actually have a video I would show, but YouTube won't allow it, of my daughter dismantling a deer. The first time she ever did it, and I was so proud of her. There's a really funny story behind it as well. But, it was absolutely Rosalind. So I might be able to put it over on Rumble. I might do that and put out a Twitter link about an X link. What, guys? Can we get something straight? Is it X or is it fucking Twitter? It's still Twitter to me. I mean, I put out an X post. What the hell does that mean? Didn't Elon ever think about that? The marketing for that name sucks. I'm like, God dang. It's fucking Twitter. Exactly. Yeah, X is too autistic. How the hell do you do? I sent an X post. What the hell does an X post mean? And now they're coming out with. By the way, they're coming out with X email, X mail, and rumor has it, Elon is trying to get copyright permissions from Marvel to use X-Men for his new robots or X-People, something like that. I'm like, hell no. I don't like robots anyway. X sounds adult and naughty. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I also have some other videos that I actually do want to post. I want to clean them up, because they're old stuff. I mean, really old. We're talking like, you know, oh my God, yes. Let me make an XXX mail. XX at xmail.com. That would be so funny. But the whole, like I said, the whole purpose behind this video was to let you guys understand who my daughter was. And I don't want to I don't even know how to say this without sounding fucking ridiculous. Her death cannot go without something good coming out of it. Oh my God, Toy. Oh dear Lord. XY. Yes, that would be XY. So I'm hoping everybody that watched the video and will watch it eventually gets something out of this. Treat people right. If you are in a bad relationship, and I'm talking to you men out there for the most part, if you are in a relationship where you feel the need to be controlling, let that young lady go. Not just let her go. Tell her to get the fuck out before you end up doing something that will, one, ruin your life and take hers. Because here's what I predict. This is my own prediction. I'm not putting this on anybody else. Here's my prediction. Shit like this keeps going down, and there will be a vigilante crew in every town across the United States that will take matters into their own hands because law enforcement won't. Because what you will read is my daughter's killer got 30 to 40 years, 20 years for killing her, and the rest of the charges for everything else that he did. He has the potential of getting out in 7 years, which means 4 more years. Now I will be at that parole hearing. I'll make sure that does not happen. But that doesn't mean that I will be at the next one, because I may not be alive at that point. And him being around when the rest of my family is still alive, that means something to me. And everybody, whether you realize it or not, has a crew that will stand behind you, just like my military buddies will. You just got to ask. I'm not advocating for violence one bit. I'm just telling you what my prediction is. Don't be a controlling asshole. Don't get drunk and decide that your old lady is the one that you want to beat up on, or your kids. If it takes it, be man enough to get them out. Tell them to get the fuck out. Put them out on the street, out on their asses if necessary, to protect them. Be a fucking man. Because if you don't, I'm coming for you. That's a straight ass fact. If I can't reach you, I know people that will. I'm not going to allow other people to get hurt. Accidents are completely one thing, but intentional violence against somebody that is smaller and frankly weaker than you physically, no, that just ain't cool. Ironically, in the big scheme of things, I also do have another thought in my head. I've always said man should never hit a woman. There's a caveat to that. The caveat is if that woman's name is Bertha and she's 400 pounds and benches 450. Run, motherfucker. Run. If you can't run, then whoop ass. But run first. I'm not kidding, guys. I mean, there are women out there that scare the living shit out of me. Have you seen some of these bodybuilder girls? Oh, god damn. You wouldn't want to meet one of some of these girls that are in professional, uh, uh, martial arts and boxing. Oh, dear God. They're so freaking muscular, they don't have boobs anymore. It's just, Lord Almighty. Bobby says, women can throw my ass. Well, there are guys that are that small. I'm 6'2", currently 282 pounds. By the way, guys, I've gone down from my max of 303 to 282 and kept that weight so far on Wegovy. I'm doing good. I'm doing very good. Bobby, we're not much different. I'm just heavier than you. My oldest son, however, he is 6'4", 6'5", currently 340. He's a big one. But he's on a diet now. He's lost like 60 pounds. He was almost 400, so. Kenny says, I try to be nice, but only to the level I can be. Well, I mean, you know what, Jenny? We know your level. I mean, have you met yourself? Did I say that? I love you. Y'all, those 2 shots did not help anything after taking a gummy. I am not sober at the moment. I ain't drunk either, which is weird. I can still read. Walking's a whole different story. Bedtime? Hell no. You're goddamn right I got high before this stream. What the fuck do you think I was going to be? It still took my ass down. What the hell is sativa? 10 milligram per piece. THC. Contains marijuana. Keep away from children. No shit, motherfucker. Berry Blaze. Tasty. Sativa's the good shit. No kidding. That's why I have it. All these fun links, by the way, everybody, go do me a favor. Follow all these creators because these guys, are what made this show happen because I wouldn't have had the courage without their encouragement. So, y'all are awesome. Shinny says, I've sent my ex email before. I'm trying to think of when email was created and when she might have sent that. RSO capsules, 1,000 mil. What the hell are you taking, Grey Witch? Holy shit. These are 10 milligrams. Field trip to Cap's house. I got plenty of coffee. And I got steaks we can barbecue. Y'all are welcome. And it's not supposed to snow here, so. We could all go to Digger's place. I'm pretty sure she's got plenty too, considering, she's got 420 in her name. Somebody just beat me. That was squid. Oh, we got a winter storm. I mean, you live in Ohio, Misty. By the way, by the way, if you guys want to see some epic Fright Night content for game stuff, go watch Misty. She does really good stuff. See, I can't. The Bobby. The funny thing is, I can't smoke anything because something in actual Mary Jane will put me into shock, toxic shock. And last time I tried smoking, I nearly died. So, nah. Heidi, us Ohioans are mostly nice. Well, yes, I know this. Except for you guys have some of the most wildest police chases I have ever heard of. Oh my God. Some of the crap you guys actually get into, your population, blows LA out of the water. Oh, you guys are just fucking with me right now. Oh, there's some seriously dumb shit in Ohio. Absolutely. Guys, I'll be right back. I need to go use the restroom. Keep chatting. It should show on screen. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Be right back. Alrighty. Oh. Well, I has returned. I don't know why I've returned, but I have returned. Because frankly, guys, I am completely out of shit to talk about. I appreciate everybody being here. Did I wash my hands? You're damn right I did. We have a cold going through the house, and luckily I've been the only one that hasn't been completely affected by it yet. I got a stuffy nose, but that's about it. So yeah, I'm washing my hands. Oh my Lord. But yes, Dwight, you have a question. I love you guys too. I love you too, Heidi. Thank you so much. Is it masculine to respond to a chick you're not interested in, or is it best to ignore her and she'll get the hint? Well, that completely depends on whether he's already taken or not. If he's taken and he responds, he's a jackass. But in the same token, the Bobby's right. The answer is yes. Um, just yes. Because there is no right answer to that. It depends on the individual and their level of courage. I've had a number of women over the years that have actually hit on me, knowing that I was married, by the way. And I've turned them down, but I turned them down very nicely, even without saying that I'm married. Now, my wife initially thought that that was betrayal, but it wasn't. It was just me trying to interact with somebody else's feelings. I'm the masculine. I am masculine as fuck because I am. I mean, when you get on the bad side of me, I am the king of whoop ass. But for the most part, well, it's like T3 said the other day, and my wife said it again. And she reminds me every day, I'm a big fucking teddy bear. Oh my God, Bobby. I mean, you got to let people down nicely. You know, if you're not interested in them, you got to let, no, it doesn't matter which gender you are. You just have to let them down nicely. You know, I see too much of that shit going on the videos these days, especially, you know, these young people. They don't understand how to actually deal with each other. You know, oh, I got a boyfriend. Get the fuck away from me. You're ugly. Bitch, shut up. How come you just can't say, hey, I'm unavailable, but you have a nice day. Thank you. Something that innocent and honest goes a long way towards not killing a man's self-esteem or a woman's self-esteem for that matter. Sir Frank, that is exactly right. Masculine is the strength to do what is needed, but have the restraint to do it as nicely as possible. There is no such thing as toxic masculinity. I don't even think, you know, God, what the hell is his name now? My brain's just shut off. Um, you know, these complete internet assholes. I don't think that they're what masculine defines. They're just assholes. You know, there's no such thing as toxic masculinity, just like there is such a thing as toxic femininity. No, there's not. Just kidding. Ego. Yeah, I mean, it's all ego. You were having an online discussion about it, one of other people's opinions. Yeah, there you go. There's my opinion. Well, folks, it's time to put the wild turkey up for the next year. I wonder how long I can spread that out because that that bottle's what, 7, 8 years old now. Tell you how much I drink, guys. My wife buys a 12-pack of beer on the 4th of July, and I will usually end up drinking it by December. You know, one thing that was drilled into me before I go here, one thing that was drilled into me a long time ago by my mother, of all people, and re-drilled into me by my grandparents, Grandma Robbie and my Grandpa Joe, my mom's mom and dad, was the golden rule. It's very simple. Treat people as you wanted to be treated. It's just that simple. Sir Frank Otter says, I'm warning you now. When it hits 15 years old, it'll be rubbing alcohol. Oh, I know. I have a bottle of Captain Morgan up on the fridge that it was in the same condition. I actually had to wash this bottle, by the way, because it was like a 1/4 inch of dirt on it. I didn't want it to look that bad for stream. But there's a bottle of Captain Morgan up there that I won't drink. We don't use it medicinally or anything. I use it to start my lawnmower. A capful right into the carburetor, starts up every time. That's no bullshit. That's what you do with old alcohol. Don't get rid of it. Use it to start vehicles. T3. Yeah, you were telling that story. I was going to tell you, my grandfather used to make homemade strawberry wine and homemade pear wine because he had pear trees, peach trees, and strawberries in his garden. My grandfather was a master gardener. Guy was fucking amazing. And when he died, we found a bottle from their old house in Yucca Valley, California, which was 30 years before that. Because he labeled and dated it and where it was made. And we opened that stuff up, and believe it or not, it wasn't vinegar at that point. That was some of the greatest wine we have ever tasted. Yeah, strawberry wine. It was great. And I know the song too. One hit wonder, that girl. One of the greatest country songs to ever come out. Look at this. All you guys posting links and stuff. You guys are awesome. Making sure everybody's taken care of and everybody gets, the recognition that they deserve, because there's a lot of creators out there that don't get the recognition that they deserve. And we're a small community, believe it or not. We are a very small community. Even those of us that, those that are far larger than me, and any of us on here that have tens of thousands of subscribers. Even Megan Fox is considered a small streamer, a small content creator. Do you guys know that? That blows my damn mind. And I thought I was big shit over on Twitch with my 4,000 subs in the 0.01% of all of Twitch streamers. I was in the top tier, the top 1,000 streamers of Twitch. And I was small potatoes. Who was on top? Well, back then it would have been Ninja. We're all family. Exactly, Rosalind. We may have squabbles and disputes and shit like that once in a while, but we're all family. Now, did you guys know that that song, Strawberry Wine, by that girl is disturbing in today's age? Think about that for a moment. Strawberry Wine 17. What? Don't ask me to sing because I can't sing anymore. Carnage. Who the fuck is Carnage Toxin? I've never even heard of that. Party at Captain for Steaks? Well, shit, why not? Hell, I don't care. We'll fire up the smoker and we'll smoke it. A lot of old songs are disturbing now. Oh, dear Lord. I mean, I'm telling you. Gen X songs are freaky. Us Gen Xers, the artists of our days made some weird shit. It's stuff we were dancing to when we were like 5 to 10 years old, and then we listened to it in our 40s and go, what the hell? We broke it. Oh, we did. We literally broke everything. I mean, just listen to everybody that still listens to the Pet Shop Boys. Did anybody ever wonder why they didn't come out with a song called Gerbil? Just asking. I'll bet you T3 gets that one in an instant. Everything by the Police. Yep, yep. T3 got it right away. Oh, hell no. Oh, no, we're not bringing up Mr. Pancake. Put Mr. Pancake away. Dear God, man. You know, for those of us that are over 40 years old in this chat, can you believe it's been almost 30 plus, it's been 30 plus years since Ice Ice Baby? That's will fuck with your head. Hey, Duran Duran, don't knock it. Yeah, hell no. Our music is awesome. It's just some of it's fucking weird. I mean, it's just weird. There's just no doubt about it. I wish that we could actually do some real sampling on YouTube. That way we can go, hey, this is what this is supposed to sound like without getting copy struck, because that's bullshit. I know. Our music is officially classic now. And I remember when the 70s music was classic and the 60s music was classic. And now they call 60s and 70s music classical. I want 80s dance parties on you. Oh, God, hell yes. Here's a fun fact. Something that I actually talked to about with Jeff, believe it or not, Mr. Vices. I used to be a radio DJ. I interned for KBPI Rocks the Rockies when I was 17 years old. That was what my goal was at that point in my life. I was going to be a radio DJ. And they actually used my voice for like 2 years with that. It was freaking hilarious. 99.7 and 100.7. Yes. Yep, I know, I know. WKRP in Cincinnati. No. God, that's 70s, man. 106.7 KBPI, rocking the Rockies. Hell yeah. I got to meet Wolfman Jack when I was 17. He was visiting that station, and it was actually quite an ordeal. And that man actually gave me a lot of the spirit that I needed to do internet radio and then eventually do streaming stuff years down the road. Yeah, I actually got to know Wolfman. He spent about a week down there teaching some of the DJs. They had KBPI had hired him to come in and do some intros, and he taught some of the DJs, not the interns obviously, but the actual DJs, some of his tricks of the trade, and it was actually pretty fun. And granted, I was there as an intern. I got to do some intro stuff and some voiceover stuff, but the big thing I did was get coffee. And there's a reason why people go interns get coffee. It's because you network. Interns that keep their mouth shut and do it and just do what they're told, they never go anywhere. Interns that actually talk and listen, that's where it's at. You get to meet some pretty cool people. I know, I'm aging myself. Oh God, it's either you nail it right there. Nailed it. Sitting there waiting for a commercial break. Ping! Yeah, got it. Right on time. Anyway, y'all, I want to thank everybody for being here. I really do. I am going to go ahead and get off now because it's been 2.5 hours. And you guys are fucking awesome. So, thank you, Heidi. Thank you. I want to thank you guys for sticking with me for listening to my daughter's story. There's more, there's a lot more to that story. I do want to let you know that there will be a lot more coming out about this. Squid's going to be doing some stuff about it, I think, given her permission. So, about the actual court case and so forth. It's going to be, I think today was a little cathartic. It helped me heal a little bit, just being able to get it out there. So, you know, be mindful of your kids, no matter how old they are. Trust your instincts. Check in on them. Don't let them just not communicate. Force the issue if you got to. If you got concerns, find a way to bring it up, because your kids are your legacy. Nothing else you do in life matters. With that said, I love you all. Peace, chicken grease, everybody. If I can find the stream ending button. Bye.